Okay, so it's about sustainability in the digital humanities, and I try to give some insights from a German research and cultural heritage institution that is the Academy of Sciences and Humanities in Lower Saxony at Göttingen. Just a second, yeah. So, what is this academy? It's in fact one of the oldest academies in Germany. It's one of these learned societies and originally founded in Enlightenment period. And since then, it's promoting research and strongly tied together with the University of Göttingen, of course. And it is also participating in the Academies program and hosts right now 20 long-term foundational research projects in the humanities. So you're asking, what is this program, this Academies program? It's funded by the government, the German government, and the states since the late 70s, and this it's long term. It's maintaining this long term, or it's funding this long term research projects that are going for quite a while. I will explain this on the next slide. To give you an idea about the size, so we have in the whole project, the whole Academies projects, it's like 130 projects altogether and 190 workstations, we call it, 900 scientists, employees, but scientists, of course, are involved in this. And the output is, it's directed to, as I said, foundational humanities research, so it's dictionaries and editions, digital, and nowadays, of course, digital editions of texts. As I said, these projects are funded for quite a long period, 15 to 25 years, but some even longer, funding 30 years up to 50 years, which is actually quite a long time nowadays for research projects. But there is, of course, one problem coming with this long period. Around 20 years ago, the funding providers started to expect from the projects to work and publish results also in a digital way. So, and for the last 10 years, like no new project has been funded without a strong digital component. So, given that, it is a really a problem for us that after a project is ending, no more funds are available for maintaining these online publications and digital and the digital research data that has been created. Of course, the non-digital outcome, like the books published, are stored in the libraries, so no more problems, no more costs. But of course, as we know, digital publications will need maintenance, and that can be quite expensive. Another problem is the software infrastructure of these projects. So there have been many different solutions and almost no standardization up to now. So some standards have been set up by individual academies, but the whole program has not been coordinated in some way, but in relation to this question of software architectures and solutions. And that means that more and more of these digital outcomes, digital publications are no longer available because of the lack of funding for maintenance and data curation specialists to handle these highly complex and specialized solutions. And as Ariane already pointed out, it's the people that are important, the domain specialists also for the data that are crucial for helping to maintain these things for a longer period. I want to show just one example. What happens with very valuable research publications, online publications from one of these projects. It was a project about papal charters, and it's a database created in 2007 or started in 2007 and ending 2 years ago or last year, but we have the situation that right now the material is not longer available because the question of who's going to maintain this is not clear, and we're trying to find a solution by hosting this in other projects that are running for a longer period, or integrating this into other projects that are publishing papal charters. Why that? As I said, the software was, or the whole infrastructure was set up in 2007, 2008, and this project is still running on Windows Server 2008 and other quite old versions of the software. Has to be regularly restarted, and of course this takes time and resources that are right now not available for this. Sorry. I would identify 3 basic problems here in our case. So of course, the technical maintenance. Who's going to take care of this in a sustainable way? As I've shown you, there's the situation for the papal charters. One would have to transfer everything to a new system, build it up from scratch, but there is no funding for this. So who can do this? How can we achieve this? Concepts and standards for the selection, of course. We have to select data for preservation and sustainability, digital storage, and sustainable publication of research data is lacking. So in whatsoever format, that is a problem. We don't have a good concept for this. Culture of data sharing and reputation management for the creation, diffusion and curation of research data is also a problem, and that is rather a social problem. So people in humanities don't want to share their data freely. At least there is still a problem in cultural problems, so to say, in the humanities to open up the data and the research after the project is finished, because for some people it's never finished, so they still want to keep it. And that makes it extremely difficult to store the data maybe in other systems or in other projects, or transfer it to other projects. And the third problem is actually who feels responsible for this. So the principal investigators, there's people who are working in the project. Is the academy, the Göttingen Academy, responsible for this? We feel like responsible, but we don't know how to deal with it because of the problem that after the project's finished, there's no funding and we don't have the financial means to do that. So we would, in preparation of this, we were talking about linked open data. Would that be a solution? I think we're going to hear some more about this later. My answer or my opinion on this is maybe it's a kind of a solution, because it is storing the data in a machine readable format, and it's probably helps to preserve copies of this data or parts of this data in different places. But two pitfalls or problems that I see here. The one is the well-known problem of the stability of URIs, and I have to admit that especially linked data projects are very quickly in getting this 404 error and not being available anymore, even more than classical projects, database projects on the web. And the second is that is because the linked open data stack or the semantic web stack is quite complicated, and the software behind it is needs to be maintained very actively, and that's probably the reason why it's disappearing very quickly. So maybe a solution, but we have to consider those problems and have to find solution for those problems, I guess. So another point I want to make is what are the initiatives to tackle these problems, to find solution on this? Because of course we don't want to lose these valuable research data that we are storing here from our projects. 3 levels here. I want to talk about my institution, the German national level, and the European level. As for my institution, I can say we have very few people actually responsible for this. It's me and 4 students. Actually, this project here, the Göttingen Digital Academy, it's called, is just funded for the half FTE, and the others coming from the academics program. We're working together with cultural heritage institutions like the Lower Saxony Library, and giving money to the library to develop our projects. And we also hope somehow that they're going to keep this alive, these projects. But we don't have this clear and transparent service level agreements as Ariana just explained, but we would wish to have some actually, because we don't know what's going to happen in 5 years or 10 years with our project. We're expecting somehow that the library will take care of it, but it's not clear if they feel responsible and if they get also funding for being responsible for this. The second initiative I want to talk about is the National Research Data Initiative, a recent initiative by the government that is addressing all disciplines. It's not only about the humanities, but also social sciences, and as you can see, life sciences and natural sciences, everything is in this program. It's altogether, I think it's 1 billion for 10 years. And there is evaluation after 5 years if it's going to be continued. The idea is that the 26 consortia are building this data infrastructure, and we have 4 consortia that are related to humanities, text plus, objects, memory, and culture, covering broadly computer linguistics, archaeology, for memories for historians, and then for cultures for history of art and music. That's not at all, of course, all disciplines related to humanities. So that is one problem already. Then we have a base for NFDI services for these consortia, and here some basic infrastructure is built, but as far as I see it now, they don't want to take care of our living systems, research databases, digital editions, and so on, in the way one would have to take care of it, like doing all the maintenance, but also maybe transferring it from one system to another, migration, and so on. That's not really covered, unfortunately. And the third level here is, of course, the European level, the European Open Science Cloud. Many services are also provided here. I'm not an expert on this, so I just know that the coordination between the German national initiative and the European level is not easy. So that's what I heard here at the conferences, and we can imagine that it's not that it's very difficult for a European initiative to reach out to the customers, so to say, the scientists, people producing the research data and producing these online resources. So the question remains, do any of these initiatives provide sustainable solutions in the way they are present now in the present state? Just to finish, three ideas on this. So one, I just heard beginning of the week on Monday, a proposal by Peter Robinson, a specialist on digital editions. He just said, what is paid for will be taken care of. That is an old idea that publishers might be interested in providing long-term care for digital resources. Problem is here, in my perspective, what about the stuff nobody would pay for? And I doubt that with public charges you can really make money in the world of publishers. So not for all projects, this solution would not be adapted for all projects. Another idea that we already talked about, artificial intelligence and the possibilities that is open up. So the fantasy is there. What's about integrating or doing the maintenance of these software systems or helping doing this maintenance by with artificial intelligence? So that's something maybe for the future. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think it's coming from the computer sciences, of course, and they will promote this, and maybe then we can adopt from we can take it over from them. So that's one hope, to make it cheaper and maybe easier to maintain those systems. And the third idea here is my own perspective on this. This is that maybe the research communities that produce this data and want to take also care of it, because they are the domain specialists, and they use the data and they want to reuse the data in their future research. Problem here is, of course, how do we enable these groups with the technical skills that they need, or to connect or to connect them with this NFDI consortia to help them to do this maintenance on their own. They just want to use the data. They don't want to take care of it in the technical sense and maintain it in a technical way. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to the discussion.